Welcome back to On the Beat, where we are in the Middle Tennessee locker room at the Scott Trade Center in St. Louis, where tomorrow Syracuse and Middle Tennessee will face off at 6:10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Sam and Matt, crazy day yesterday. We'll start with Syracuse-Dayton. What were the keys for the Orange to get past Dayton and get into this matchup with Blue Raiders?
I think
Matt, you can go for it. I know you guys are fighting to go first.
In the second half, Syracuse got off to a 25-4 run to start that half. It was pretty dominant performance from the Orange. And one thing Jerry McNamara said after the game was he grabbed the stat sheet and looked and said, we only let up 4 second-chance points today, and that was largely in part to Tyler Roberson's 18 rebounds, 8 on the offensive end. I think that kind of started the flow for Syracuse in the second half, and they were really able to turn those defensive rebounds into offensive opportunities and really blow a 2-point game wide open, and it wasn't even close toward the end.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think it was just a good matchup for Syracuse. You look at Dayton's roster, the only guy above 6'6" was Steve McKelvin, and he really wasn't much of a factor, only playing 19 minutes, and really wasn't a factor on the board. So I think that really kind of played into Syracuse's hands. Like you said, Tyler Roberson really went off, and Trevor Cooney had a nice little second half, and overall it was just a great game, and Malachi Richardson really showed up on the biggest stage of his career, really.
Yeah, I'm going to go with timely shooting, I think, was the key. I mean, I think there was good rebounding, obviously, great defense throughout. The zone really tightened up, but there was 3 straight threes in the second half by Cooney, Benijay, and Richardson individually. And that just, obviously 9 straight points will blow the game wide open any day, but Syracuse hasn't really been hitting those big shots in recent games. In the 5 losses in 6 games to end the season, that timely shooting really wasn't there, and it seemed like yesterday that the shots they needed to make, Syracuse was hitting, and when in their threes, it helps even more, obviously, because you're getting more points. So now we'll shift our attention to MTSU, which is becoming the tournament Cinderella team. I know Matt and I were writing yesterday during the game, so Sam, you saw most of the game.
I was there for most of it.
Yeah, so first, what are your impressions of MTSU, how they match up with Syracuse, how they beat Michigan State, and just kind of what you saw yesterday?
Well, they really do a good job of shifting defenses. They can pretty much change everything up. They went from 1-3-1 to a 2-3, played man-to-man. They press. They do everything. So they really change things up. They have a lot of stretch forwards that kind of can go out and shoot and. We were talking about yesterday. They really just hit threes. Everyone on their team can really hit threes and step out, and they have the best 3-point shooter in the country, Giddy Potts. So it's a pretty dominant team in that area. Obviously, they're a 15 seed and may have been overlooked a little bit, but they could do a lot of different things, and they have a lot of different players that just can really step up.
Now, Matt, just based on what Sam just said, I know you didn't see as much as the game, but how do you think the matchup goes tomorrow with Syracuse and what Syracuse needs to do?
I think only one 15 seed has really ever reached the Sweet 16, and that was Florida Gulf Coast. I don't see it happening again, but Giddy Potts, like Sam said, shoots 50.2% from three-point range. That's the most efficient in the country. And Syracuse is kind of notorious for letting random guys, per se, kind of beat the zone from deep. So that's one thing they'll have to watch out for is Giddy Potts from deep, and like Sam said, it's more than one guy who can shoot from 3. Yeah. If you shut down Middle Tennessee State from 3, I think Syracuse should be good. Yeah. And if they hit some threes themselves, I think the matchup is in favor of Syracuse.
Yeah, I think the key is, even Dayton, like you said, Sam, earlier, it was a great matchup for Syracuse, but even those 6'6" guys are pretty good around the rim. And Syracuse did a great job defending the rim. Even if it was just one guy, a lot of times they were leaving Daewon, they were leaving Tyler Lydon alone to just kind of scrap on defense inside, and it worked yesterday. So I think Syracuse can't be afraid to extend its zone. It can't get too far, because if you give up a lot of 2s to Middle Tennessee State, you're probably not doing a good job. But I think if it extends the zone and and does a good job limiting threes, like Matt said, that's really the key. I think offensively Syracuse will figure it out, for lack of a better phrase there. But I think the defense is where it's going to be decided on this one, kind of like it was against Dayton in the start of that second half. And I guess how we always end on the beats. So we'll go with our score predictions. I'm in the doghouse right now because I picked Dayton on Friday, but
I don't like you in Syracuse. He's gonna stay. He's gonna stay.
I'm in the credibility doghouse because it's like, all right, so why do we listen to this guy? He's picking Dayton.
It's true.
Matt, you want to go yours first?
I'm gonna go with middle. No, I'm kidding. I'm going with Syracuse. 78-60, kind of a similar margin of victory as against Dayton. I don't see Middle Tennessee State playing another perfect game against a Power 5 conference school. Sure, it's March. Weird things can happen, as we've seen in the first 2 days of the tournament. I don't see it happening again. Syracuse just has too much individual talent, and I don't see Middle Tennessee putting together kind of the perfect game plan that they put together against Michigan State yesterday.
Well, at the risk of them walking into the locker room right now, which I'm really hoping they don't, I agree with Matt. I think that the Blue Raiders are a good team. They're not a 15 seed. Watch out. I don't think they're a 15 seed. They probably could have matched up with a lot of different teams in this tournament. I think it's going to be a good game. But I think Syracuse will pull away late, a lot like it did yesterday. I think it had 85-68. You'll have to check on dailyorange.com. But yeah, I mean, Syracuse is just going to outclass them. That's kind of my opinion on it. They're going to be able to hit their threes and limit Middle Tennessee to under 90 points that Michigan State really just couldn't yesterday.
Yeah, I'm going Syracuse 67-54. Similar reasons as these guys. I think Syracuse is just a better team at this point. It's really hard to string together 2 wins in March in a 3-day span when you're a team like Middle Tennessee State that at this point is playing against teams that are probably more talented and just going to kind of run into a wall with Syracuse. With Matt Schneiman and Sam Blum, I'm Jesse Doherty from the Middle Tennessee State locker room at the Scottrade Center. For continued coverage of Syracuse basketball, follow the @TO Sports Twitter handle, follow dailyorange.com, and thanks for following along.